Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Koehler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Koehler.
Hi team, I'm Fitz Koehler, your fitness expert from Fitzness.com, and welcome to the Fitzness Show. Normally, I like to talk about all the wonderful things involved in running races and runners and events and sports and fitness in general. But like everything, this particular sport has some strange downsides, and I'm going to call this the Running Pet Peeves Show. And who better to do it than my partner who sees almost everything with me from high up in the sky, so high, Rudy Novotny. Welcome, Rudy.
Hey, Fitz. How you doing? Love to be invited on the Pet Peeve Show.
Yeah,
Nothing like inviting a grumpy old guy to get mean, nasty, and just be generally grumpy.
Yeah, you know, everybody says that about you. Rudy, he's so grumpy.
I'm a grumpy guy. Let's get to it. I can't wait.
So speaking of pet peeves, I think everyone should know. So Rudy and I are not in the same place. We're communicating via the computer. But is it a pet peeve of yours to lose things that you put in a quote unquote safe place?
Oh, nice start. Yeah. So we're starting off with the most current pet peeve of and I think we've all done it. I've done it a number of times, is making sure that you put whatever it is away in a really, really, really safe place so you don't lose it.
And all you're doing is hiding it from yourself, right?
Exactly. Yep. And that's what I did this morning, but it seems to have worked out okay. So on with the show.
That's right. And for your information, what we're talking about is I asked Rudy to put in his earbuds with the microphone so I could hear him better. He's like, yes, of course, they're right here. Wait a minute, right here. And it just kept going. And all I could hear you in the background is talking to yourself going, okay, wait.
Yep, I did a good job of that one. Still haven't found it and probably won't until the next show we do.
That's right.
Whatever.
Right. Whatever.
It's all good.
So, always happy to have you with me because you're so much fun, even though you are this grumpy guy, right?
Thanks, Fitz. Yeah, I'm a grumpy old guy trying to have fun, just kind of looking out over the Carlsbad coastline here. It's about 75 today. What do you have there in Gainesville?
I think it's 80-something. I win.
You win. 80 and humid.
I know. I got a little stickiness, too. Take that.
Gee whiz. Don't miss that at all. 75 and dry. Sorry.
Oh,
not sorry.
I love the sticky. I love it so much. We're going to have some rain, too, and that feels good.
Lovely. Lovely. You're such a lizard.
Life in the tropics is good. Yeah, man. So, we're going to go into race peeves, and I've made a list. Did you write anything down?
I didn't, Fitz. I'm totally winging it. I'm going to work off of what you feed me and what comes to mind.
Okay, so as always, not that it needs to be invited, because I know you're always happy to put in your 2 cents, but if any of my thoughts trigger your thoughts, please feel free to dive right in.
Absolutely, can't wait.
So I'm going to start with one of my peeves that's actually grown on me because it's your pet peeve. Let's start off with race bandits. Ready, set, go.
Don't. Just don't. Just don't. And race bandits, go away. And don't ever come back another day. That's it. Simple. Done.
And tell people what a race bandit is, because not everybody knows.
That's true. Okay, so essentially a race bandit is someone who's decided to not register for an event and spend the money that all the registered people have to enjoy all the resources and all the niceties that are provided for registered runners. And so they have no bib on, and, their attitudes run the gamut from, we'll just start from here, from it's a public street and I have every right to be there, to, big deal, who am I hurting anyway? to, well, I'm not taking a T-shirt, and I probably won't take a medal, but many of them do, to, I don't know, just a self-righteous attitude of I'm entitled to run this event, and or just I'm not taking anything. I won't stop at a water station. All kinds of nonsense to justify their existence. But of course, you and I both know that bandits put a significant weight and difficulty in many cases on the resources that are provided those who pay for them.
Such as, go on.
Well, I mean, let's go to the big ones, okay? Let's go to the big ones. Medical needs, okay? All the volunteers and all our medical staff are staffed to assist the registered runners. And if those medical staff members are needed to assist a non-registered runner, then that takes away from those resources right there. And that's a big one, okay?
Huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
And
it's not like...
And if one of those non-registered runners gets hurt along the way, guess who's getting sued? Exactly.
And it's not, just like hospitalization. It's not like anybody's going to be turned away, but it takes away from, those, again, that have, paid for those resources to be there. Additionally, in many cases, medical information is provided by the participants that's encoded in the, I'll use the term chip, in their registration information. Perhaps penicillin intolerance and other vital information that's provided. People to notify and other vital information. Well, clearly, because they're not wearing a bib and have no chip or additional information, those non-registered runners don't provide any of that information, so it's difficult in many cases to serve them properly.
Not very
so
much.
That's just a start. We can go to the little things, and I'll call them little, like races that run out of medals in some cases.
Yep.
Doesn't happen often, but it happens because the non-registered runners come through the finish line, and unfortunately the volunteers either, perhaps haven't been trained properly or are just inundated with just large numbers and large volumes that all they're doing is seeing somebody who's finished a half marathon or a marathon or maybe just a 5K, whatever, and they bestow them with the medal that they believe that person deserves because they don't know any better. And, 50 medals here, 100 medals there, and on and on and on. And all of a sudden we get towards the end of the event, and so many of those deserving, as you and I know, have essentially worked harder than everybody else because they've been out there longer.
That's right.
And there's not a medal for them. That's just outrageous, because of the entitled few that have decided not to register, have taken those along the way. And, of course, food and drink. And, I guess we could go on and on with it.
They're thieves. We like to call them the thieves, right?
Well, it is theft.
Yeah.
I mean, it is theft. There's absolutely... And this will probably open a hotbed of response, and that's good because we can have discussions about it. But it truly is theft of services, theft of materials, and those courses have been, in most cases, closed because of the fees that have been paid, the permits that have been drawn, and the significant efforts of the race director and their staff and volunteers to marshal and close that course for the safety and the enjoyment of all the registered runners.
Yeah, I don't think people have any idea how expensive it is and how much effort goes into getting those permits, shutting down the roads, and hiring the law enforcement and the contractors who put up the fencing and everything. It's a fortune. So you're legit stealing, and some race directors are actually going after these bandits now. There's people that are being charged with misdemeanors over it, which I love.
Yeah, they're getting, they're getting more serious about it. They're getting more aggressive. You and I have seen, you and I have been in a number of races where they actually have a group of security, paid security, to take these people off the course, in some cases a half mile out, in some cases more than that. When I say half mile out from the finish line.
Right.
Because let's face it, the most effective way of handling something like that, essentially as far as, guarding from medals and use of finish line, post-race food and refreshments, et cetera, is getting them off the course before they reach the finish line.
So I'm going to pause you there because all of that's great information. So I love the way you handle this all at the start line. So Rudy and I work together. I normally yield to him and he says, if you are not registered, get off the course. If you are standing next to somebody without a bib, point them out. Flag over security. We'll get rid of them, right?
Right. What happened to Rudy? You seemed like such a nice guy, and then he started talking about bandits, and I want to cry. Oh, no.
I know. He's the perfect pit bull, but then we go, and that was your pet peeve. That's why I threw that one out first. Mine is the finish line.
Okay.
Where I turn into a bit of a monster when people who are not registered for the race come through the finish line.
Yeah, that kind of... I've seen you get a little cranky, particularly recently. And you know what, though? I think you have a point. I think you have a very valid point there. Go on.
It's taken those a-holes that you were talking about, and I can't let them through. I just morally cannot let them through. There's a couple. There's the ones who actually ran the race and no bib. And so, if I see no bib on a person, that's why people need to put their bibs on the front. It's not only for the photography, but so
good point.
Yeah,
good
so
point.
People know they belong there. And if they're coming through without a bib, I will tell volunteers, do not give the guy in red shorts a medal. He's not a registered runner. But then I get furious. I get so mad when these people, it's just so selfish. They grab their baby once they hit the finish line chute, and they're going to make it all about them. Well, P.S., you're running a race with all these other runners, athletes who've trained hard. They're looking forward to not only their moment at the finish line, but some finish line photo. I think it's horrible to have some baby or some kids running in the photo, or some dad with the loafers and the backpack, and he's sloppy with the camera. Get out of my finish line, right?
Ooh, mean Fitz Koehler. Mean. Well, okay, so essentially, of course, I agree with you because it's busy enough in the finish line and in those chutes there without family and friends coming through. I guess the flip side of that is, and you and I have seen it, we've been doing this a while, it's the sharing of the celebration. Probably many of them are first timers, maybe not, but they're excited and they want to share that moment with their little one or their spouse or significant other. So essentially it's a harmless concept or idea. However, it is very problematic.
Yeah.
And I get where you're coming from, and let's kind of get down to it at another level. That finish line area, those chutes are a restricted and secured area.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm with you.
Well, and then mom falls with baby. Baby splits head open in the middle of the course. Guess who's paying for baby split head? Race organization. Guess who's getting sued for baby split head? Race organization. there's so much wrong. Susie's dad trips over his loafers and wipes out another runner. It's an earned place. And one of the things that I tell people on the microphone at the start and at the finish line, and I mean it, is this place is a earned opportunity. You have to earn the finish line, and there's nothing better to teach your children than how to support others. Their place is on the outside of the barricades, waving, screaming, rattling that cowbell, but they do not belong inside of it. So as a parent who's raised two really nice kids, I think it's bad parenting to demonstrate rule breaking. The rules don't apply to us. We're entitled. It doesn't matter. Teach those kids how to be a good support system, don't you think?
Yeah, I know. I agree with you, and the you said it before in our conversations. The finish line is a very hallowed place. It's somewhere where the celebration truly starts. that celebration might be a little less in a kids run or in a, maybe 5K, although distance does not demean the effort and the celebration and the honor of finishing. But when you get to a half marathon or a marathon where there may be, more of a struggle, if you will, or more of an effort to get to that hallowed place, it should indeed be reserved for those that have worked for that opportunity and put in the hours and days and weeks of training, and hopefully just hours to get there instead of weeks to get to the finish line.
Well, it's funny because you and I, people like that we're so happy, and we're so happy for them, and we truly love the athletes. So, it's a win-win. They like us because we like them, and everyone's happy. But I fiercely want to protect those people. I get cranky, and I'm quite confident there's a couple dozen at least, mommies or bozos who decided to grab their kid or grab some other person to bring through the finish line. And I don't think those people like me anymore. And I also don't think I care, right?
Fitz Koehler, you think there's a couple people out there that just might not think we're as cool as we think we are?
I'm pretty sure there's a few people that hate my guts. There was, this weekend at Savannah, public Savannah women's half marathon and 5K. I had some dude, it was about the 2.5 hour mark of the half marathon. So very busy shoot. And some jerk comes riding towards me, and I'm standing inside the finish line on the mic, and he was on a bicycle.
No.
And I used the mic as a weapon, not to hit him, but as to publicly shame him. And I said, "Get off your bike and get out of my course." And he looked at me, and I ran up. I grabbed his handlebars physically, and I said, "You need to get off the course." And he was like, "I'm just going to go past you. I'm going to go." And I said, "No, you're not." He goes, "Yeah, I am." And I ripped him apart. I said, "You need to get off that bike and get off this course, or I'm bringing the Savannah Police Department. And if you hurt any of my athletes, we will sue you for everything you have for the rest of your life." And he was like, "Oh." So he turned around. I was so mad. I didn't tell him all of that on the microphone, but the first few statements were at least enough to get his attention and embarrass him. And so the next day I was doing yoga in the park where the race puts on yoga the next day. And all the girls, so none of them said like, "Hey, you were the fun one at the start line," or "Hey, whatever." They go, "Are you the one who got that guy on the bike off the course?" I was like, "Yeah, that was awesome." So while he hated me, I think those girls really liked me.
Well, what a transition from sweet, fun, Fitz Koehler. Did you use your big girl voice and everything?
That's right. I used my mommy voice. It was the mean one, really.
You used your mommy voice, and you grabbed his handlebars. That is badass.
Yeah,
I love it.
I got very physical with him and Michael Jones, so sweet, but he's Navy background. He can handle himself. He was in the course. He goes, "I didn't know if I had to jump in and help you." I mean, this guy could have obviously been a big jerk, and maybe I would have had to actually hit him with the microphone, but I was able to convince him verbally to do the right thing.
Well, I think if Michael Jones had to step in, or if I was available and stepped in, actually what we would have said is, "Hey, dude, if I were you,
just let her.
I would do what she says."
That's right. So, our job, I think we're the head cheer squad, kind of organizational, but I also feel like we're head of security at that finish line because we get to see it all and we get it first, right?
Well, it's, without patting ourselves on the back, it's because we care,
Yeah.
It's because it's kind of just an extension of what we do. And yeah, it's just, I guess it wouldn't be the same if we just didn't care.
No.
I just realized another pet peeve. I found another one.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's an extension of the finish line and of bandits. And, sometimes there are those out there that just, they decide that maybe that second loop or that, they just need to do less that day, and yeah. And so
call them? Course cutters, cheaters, Rudy. Pick
Well,
a word.
okay. So, but I'm not even, I'm not even going to cheaters right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. However, in that mode, if you decide that you're going to, take yourself out and you're not going to do that loop or you're going to cross over, that's okay.
Right.
But what you do is you take yourself out in that finish line. There's several things you can do, and I guess we'll develop them as we discuss this. The first one is you go over to the timing personnel that are right there. They are right there waiting, and you tell them, I did not complete the entire course.
Yes.
Okay? Because we see you. Fitz and I see you coming in, and believe me, I've been doing this almost 25 years. Fitz has got some good experience in this as well. We know that you didn't run a marathon when we see your gait, your body type, your just general demeanor, and you're coming in at 3:05.
Yeah.
Okay, or whatever.
For the marathon. That's a marathon, time.
And yes, and we kind of, and so that's all we're saying here. I don't mean to demean anybody's effort, and I also don't mean that you have to be a gazelle to run a good time, because that's just not true.
Right.
I see it all the time. I see very capable people who aren't nearly as lean as, again, I'll use the term gazelles that we see out there, and they're very gifted individuals. But if you haven't done the whole thing, you gotta take yourself out. It's the only honorable thing to do. Do not let us assume that you did the whole course and that you deserve your time.
And that is important because you may take away somebody's age group award or their experience, right? If they're waiting at the platform hoping their name is called and they didn't see you up ahead because you technically weren't up ahead, you could take their moment in the sunshine, right?
Correct. Yeah, you might not be top 3 overall, but if you're in the ancient dinosaur age group like myself, you might be taking somebody's top 3 spot or whatever. You just haven't earned your place that day, and maybe you just had a tough day, and that's okay. We all do. And so I'm before somebody gets glaring and writes me a nasty gram, which you can do that anyway if you'd like.
Right. I'm going to write you one when we get done. I'm sending you a mean note.
Please do. I'm not disrespecting anybody and matter of fact, I have my attitude over the years has changed in accepting a DNF.
Yes.
D like David, N like Nancy, F like Frank, meaning did not finish. And you know what? I used to be, back in the day, you finish no matter what. You get out there, and if you have to walk, if you have to drag yourself across the finish line, whatever it takes, you finish what you started.
Now, was that just a personal philosophy, or were you telling that to other people?
That was just a personal philosophy. I would not, that was my own philosophy.
Got it. Good.
But something changed along the way, and quite a while ago, and I came to understand, the flip side of that. And the flip side of that being, hey, if you're just having a really, really bad day, I think there's a lot of wisdom to just kind of accepting that that's what it is. It's a bad day, and go ahead and do not finish. Go ahead and take a ride back so you can not necessarily live.
Right.
Of course,
live to run another day.
Live to run another day. Now, I say that both literally and figuratively. If you're seriously going through a medical issue, of course. But I'm just talking about you're not having a great day. I'm not telling you to be a quitter. And particularly if we're talking about a marathon distance or an ultra distance, or even a half marathon for some people, I think there's a lot of wisdom to just saying, nope, it's not my day. And then get back on your training schedule, and the opportunity to run another race maybe in the near future is a lot greater if you don't just put it all out there and struggle through that finish line and put yourself in a 6-week, 10-week, maybe several month recovery.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I was going to say with my actual expert credentials, with the fitness thing, I always say, well, first we do no harm, right? Just like doctors.
Perfect.
Your efforts in running are always to make you healthier, and of course there's athletic accomplishment, but before you're a runner, you're a person. And if this experience is not enhancing you as a person with forget your mental thing, the triumph, blah, 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 we're talking health, then tap out, move along, and that's a pretty strong philosophy for me. If I feel sick or injured, I'm done. We had a horrific amount of people at the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend running with the flu.
Oof.
Yeah, and I know personally several of them that took months to recover. It's, I don't know, April, they're just getting back to running. I mean, there's a point where it's just stupid. It's just a race. It's just a medal. So you're blowing your $60, $100, whatever dollars. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you flew there, if you're sick, if you blew your knee out or whatever it is, just get a cowbell and cheer for the other people and take from the experience that you can. But you're a person first. And if that race is not enhancing your health, if it's hurting it, you shouldn't be taking part in it.
Agreed. And Fitz, and again, I guess when I share this stuff, as you said, you have professional background. I do not. All my background is experiential.
Yeah.
And that's personal experience and experience within the industry and working with other people. Okay. So that's where all my stuff comes from.
Which is very valued too.
Well, but again, I think it's really important that everybody understands that's where my basis comes from. I'm not a professional, but I have a lot of experience. So for me, what we're talking about here also, it starts at the start line, right at the start line. So again, in my humble opinion, you do not start a race unless you are, and this number will slide with the distance, okay? I think, if it's a mile race, okay, you might not be feeling the greatest, but it's a mile, okay? At least you don't have a fever, okay? The flu isn't probably a great, I think you should be in bed.
Yeah, but, and not infecting everybody else, right?
Correct. Agreed. 5K, but as the distance gets longer and longer, have respect for the distance. Have respect for yourself and the other runners around you. But all of those factors, I personally, just myself, I would never go to the start line of a marathon being less than 90, probably 95% healthy, ready, able, and feeling confident in my ability to put forth that effort on that day. That's my number. I'm sure other people might have other numbers, but you got to respect the distance. A marathon or a half marathon, that's a long way. Or, of course, we go to ultras.
Yeah.
50, 100 miles longer, 24-hour races.
Even for people that are totally prepared, feeling great at the start of a marathon or a half marathon, there's a really good chance something's going to hit the fan between point A and point B. Let's just talk about reality, right?
There's a real good chance it's going to happen.
If you're not already up there, if you're not at your best to begin with, the things that'll knock you down along the way could get dire. I do not like it when I have my friends that talk about it was miserable and I suffered and this, and I just think, if you were posting that same post today that said, I woke up, had a stomach bug, or I've been recovering from the flu and I just decided to take a pass on the race today and get some rest, you'd have even more people in your little important comment section saying, wow, I'm so proud of you. What an adult decision you've made. If you're one of those people that just lives for the feedback, you're going to get a lot more praise doing the right thing than doing the bozo thing and being a dramatic, mess after the fact. Don't you think?
Yeah, with, I don't know, how many years is it now? Oh, boy, I shouldn't even go to this number.
Carry the free.
It's less than 50. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
It's less than 50. I don't know how many less than 50 years of personal running. It's about the joy of running. That's what it should be. And if it's not a joyful experience, or if the joy in getting out there and putting one foot in front of the other diminishes or changes, then either change what you're doing, or just maybe find another pursuit or walk or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, I have a friend, and I'm sure it's not his. I don't know. We steal all our own other material. But, what he says is never outrun your joy of running. And I think that's a really sweet and very true bunch of words. It's just how sad that something that perhaps at one time gave us so much joy would become anything less than that.
Well, you know what? I got to give you credit, Rudy Novotny, because according to my little list that I've made, you dove straight into expectations of the finish line and so forth, as I had number 3. But I think the next thing would be the training. Some people take on these efforts and they just haven't trained at all, or they haven't trained properly. And, you get out what you put in, right?
Sure. And I think, to keep the conversation moving specifically, I like the subtopic of expectations. It's something that I'm not going to say it's a pet peeve, but it's a frustration of mine when I see people in the running community, and some of them being our friends, both close friends and people we've gotten to know, and acquaintances and Facebook friends and people we don't care about any less, but people we know in varying degrees create or harbor expectations that are either completely unreasonable or just aren't in sync with what they're doing to achieve those expectations.
Right.
Okay, now, Rudy's beating me down. He says I shouldn't have a dream. No, that's not true. Everybody should have a dream. And that's what keeps so many of us going. Dreams are wonderful things, and goals, and even lofty goals. But, I've just realized recently that I'm not going to be running a 2:30 marathon anytime soon. And that's for me. And that personally, maybe 2:30 half is more like what I should be looking at now. But
hey, no shame in that, mister.
No. But I mean, really, it's creating expectations or goals for yourself that either are reasonably achievable, and then it comes, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, have a plan.
Have a plan. Sure. And for some people it might be getting coaching, but I mean, you've done lots of personal training, and you've coached people and worked with people on a professional level, and to look to achieve something that requires either this degree of strength or speed or all of the above, without doing the basic training for those muscle groups.
Look at you. You sound like you are coming around to the philosophy of strength training.
This is going to be so painful
when
this podcast is done.
Yeah, wow. You're. Let me hear more of this concept you have.
Well, I'm gonna. Oh boy. I'll be running specific. Okay, and I just chatted with one of our mutual friends at a race yesterday, and I think the light bulb came on for her, because she was looking. Okay, because can we, in expectations, can we go right into PRs?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so PRs, personal records, or also known as PBs, personal bests. The
fastest you have ever gone a particular distance.
Correct. So, I guess, oh boy, this is a tough one, or potentially tough subject, because I want to encourage again everybody to have those desires and be looking to improve yourself. And it's okay to look for those personal records and personal bests, but my becomes when it actually goes to a negative and it becomes unreasonable. And look, you're just not gonna run a personal record every time you go out and run that distance. It's impossible. It's destructive, and it's looking for an injury, and it's just
disappointment.
Or disappointment, just right there. Exactly. It's just,
instead of being able to go out and enjoy the experience and the outcome, it's an instant opportunity to beat yourself up and woe is me to all your friends and explain why you didn't get the PR, as opposed to just going out and saying, you know what, I ran XYZ race today and it was cool, and leave it at that.
This is right, exactly. This is the best I had today. I gave it all I could, and this is what I had today. And you know what? Might not be my best, but it was my best today.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, Rudy, is like, besides you, who cares what your best is? It's just, nobody cares what your time is. Isn't that interesting that people think that other people care what their time is?
Well, some of us are a little more A-type or type A.
Do you look at your friends and care what their race time was?
Yes.
You do?
No, I don't.
What?
I don't care. Okay, so look.
I can't wait to hear this. Go on.
Oh, boy. Well, so I look at my age group because I'm a competitive person. So sure, I'll look at, what some of the guys and also some of the girls in my age group are running, or some of the nearby, or some of the people I know. It doesn't matter. No, what you're saying is correct. It doesn't matter.
So what I'm saying is, our dear friend Lori Weiner posts and says, I ran this, super cool half marathon today. Is your first instinct, I wonder what her time was?
No, not at all. No. That's a real fine example. No.
Yeah.
No. Again, it might speak to, more of the people that are directly in my age group or my sphere of competitive background, perhaps. And that's a very small group. But, aside from that, no, it really doesn't matter. But let's go back to, the PR chase and expectations. So what I say is, to some of these people, like someone says, okay, my PR in the 5K is 27 minutes. Okay, so just over a 9-minute pace. Okay, great. That's fantastic. But I'd really, really like to go 24 minutes or under. Okay. That's quite a drop. Okay, and tell me, what are you doing to that end? What are you, so that's fine. That's, that may or may not, but that may be an attainable goal. Tell me about your speed work. Speed work?
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of go out and I run, and I maybe do a couple little pickups here and there. Oh, so you're doing a little tempo. Well, no, not really tempo. I'm just, I go out there and I hope for the best. Hope to have a good day. Okay. So all I'm saying is that, if all of a sudden such a person is running like a 9:10 pace and then hopes to run roughly a 7:45 pace, without doing that, what makes you think that your body is going to all of a sudden go, oh, okay, let's do this?
Yeah, you have to put in some strategic training. You have to do what your running coach tells you to do, and then you got to do what Fitz Koehler tells you to do.
and not in that order, perhaps in the reverse order.
Right.
So,
yeah, and the difference would be, what I tell folks is, if you get a running coach, someone who will tell you, work on your gait, someone who will tell you what pace to run at, your speed training, whatever. I'm the one who prepares your body for elite performance. I make sure that your body is strong and flexible with good balance and great endurance. And, you know as well as I do, because you used to be that guy, is runners tend to just run. They just run. And because they're running every day they're doing more damage. They need to be doing elliptical and swimming and cycling. You can make a hell of a lot of progress with your running by stopping running a few days a week and doing the other things that still build your endurance without beating your joints to death and overusing those muscle groups.
Well, and I agree. And of course, and if we even just speak to the running aspect of it, long, slow distance is going to make you long and slow, and you'll be able to do the distance. Okay, if that's what you want, that's fine. But if you're looking to run faster, then things like speed work and hill repeats and tempo work and look them up or get yourself a coach and check those things out, because all of those things and more will make you faster, and they'll make your running more fun. They'll make you stronger, and they'll give you an opportunity to perhaps, run more PRs or run faster like you're saying you want to do. And speed work is something that I just fought and fought and fought and fought. And I just thought, if I just run, maybe some more hills and maybe further, I'd get faster. Well, of course, that never happened. And one of the guys that I ran with for many, many years was just an incredibly talented individual, much, much, much faster than I. And I benefited from running with a faster person. That's always a good thing to do. But he got me doing speed work. And he said, "You're going to hate me for a couple weeks." He said, "I'm going to guarantee you a couple things. You're going to hate me for a few weeks." And he gave me a structured speed workout. And there's all kinds of different ways to do it. When I say speed work, it's a very generic term. There's lots of different ways to do it. Some good ways, some bad ways, but there's lots of different ways. But he said, "You're going to hate me for a few weeks, and then it's going to happen. You're going to see the benefit. You're going to feel it. You're going to run some races. You're going to run faster. You're going to feel different when you're running harder. Mentally, you're going to change. Your ability to handle that stress going at a faster speed for a shorter period of time is going to improve." And man, I hated him for a few weeks. I hated him. And then, a few weeks down the way, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks into the program, I started running faster and better, racing stronger, and getting better times and enjoying it more. And it was magic. I love speed work. I love running hills, as hard as it is. I love hill repeats. Tempo works great. It just makes you a better runner, and it makes your running more fun and changes it up. You're just not running the same thing every day.
Yeah. Repetition is only partially beneficial. So I'm going to jump into something that's a lot lighter on the subject. It's not necessarily a peeve, but something I can't figure out. What is your opinion on the people that warn us the night before the race about what they're going to wear? The flat Rudy photo.
You've never seen a flat Rudy photo, because to date there's never been one.
What do you think about that?
It's part of their race prep. It's part of their pre-race celebration. So really, I'm okay with it. I think it's just, the whole celebration of what I'm going to do and what I'm headed to do is different things to different people. So I'm pretty okay with it. I think it's, part of the fun. And okay, you know what it was for me? For me, this is how old I am. For me, it was we used to get our bibs in the mail, okay? Wow. We used to sign up with a paper form.
What?
Yeah, I know. We used to sign up with a paper form, and we'd get a paper bib in the mail. We'd get a Tyvek bib, and we'd put it on the refrigerator. And that would be something that I would see every day. And it would remind me that from one of my favorites, the Big Sur Marathon, was 3 months out or 4 months out, and I'd see my number and I'd concentrate on it, and it would be my focal point. So that was my pre-race deal. But yeah, people celebrate, and they'll take pictures of their restaurant tour the week before.
Oh yeah, that's so funny. I look at those pictures, and they're certainly not harmful or anything, but instead of like you have this cute version of it's celebrating what I'm going to do tomorrow. In my mind, I think, thanks for the warning. Now I know. Avoid the girl in the green tank top and the purple sparkly skirt or whatever. It's so like, where else would you do that other than race? Can you imagine if you posted your outfit the night before you went to work every day? Or this is I'm going to wear this to church tomorrow, everyone. Just be careful. Here I come.
I like your equivalent. Hi, everybody. This is what I'm wearing to work tomorrow.
It just feels funny to me. So, but millions of people do it. So obviously I'm the awkward one, not taking pictures of my clothes.
Well, again, it's just part of the, and I think it's also part of the warrior spirit. This is their armor.
I got my tutu ready. We are going to war with the road.
That's right. That sparkly skirt or whatever it is. We see some pretty amazing outfits out there.
Oh, we
clearly
sure do. Next time you're a guest, we have to talk about LA Marathon. We don't have time today, but we had some good stuff there. Good stuff. All right, back to something deeper. We're going to have to keep it quick because I don't want to keep these people too much. But let's talk about the GPS know-it-alls, where courses have been professionally measured repeatedly on end on the tangent of the course, yet we still have folks saying, this course was 0.13 miles long. Ready, set, go.
Okay, what that has become is the race director's Monday morning, okay, let's go ahead and open up the email and see how many emails we have of your course is long.
Or short. Yeah.
Or well, if it's short, or short.
But still, the GPS watches are wrong.
Yeah, well, GPS, ladies and gentlemen, I know you spent a lot of money for your Garmin or your Fitbit or your Polar device or et cetera, or your Sunto. There's a lot of great stuff out there, and they're great guides, but guess what? They are not perfect. They are absolutely, positively not perfect.
What?
Yes, this is true. This is true. Now, that's to begin with. So the device itself is not perfect, okay? And then let's go to the dynamics of how a course is measured. And we cover this with apologies to all those who've already, they know they've been through this and they understand where we're going. So I know you're going to be bored with this little bit, but a course is measured essentially with the shortest possible distance anyone could ever take to complete that distance. Okay? So, and it is measured with a very, very scientifically set forth and approved and refined process. And we've got some great people out there, some we know very, very well. Ron Scudera.
Doug Thurston.
Doug Thurston. My buddy Jerry. Jerry, why does your last name escape me all of a sudden? I've only known you for 25 years.
That's okay. So go on. I'll tell him about it.
And anyway, if you can visualize, let's visualize a road that curves and then curves back. Okay, so essentially it's an S. It's a lazy S. Well, when measuring that part of the road, be it a quarter mile that does that, or even a tenth of a mile or a 20th of a mile, the course is not measured on a wheel as they run through each of those curves. They go on the straightest line that can possibly be taken to go through that distance. It will be on the road. It doesn't mean that it's exactly as the crow flies. It has to be, on that running surface. But again, if you just think about the shortest possible distance that can be taken on a straight line, that's how it's measured. So for a marathon, when you're looking at your GPS or whatever device you have, and it's measuring about 26.4, 26.5, somewhere in that realm, chances are that's virtually perfect. You're talking about, because you almost, without exception, you cannot run those tangents. It's impossible to run that line.
The second you step to weave around one runner, you're off of it. The second you step over to the side to grab a water, you're off of it. There is...
Perfect example. Yeah. That's a perfect example, Fitz. Both of those examples. And let's face it, we both know that we do plenty of dodging and, moving around, runners 5 abreast that shouldn't be going that way or walking or whatever. But, and you think, oh, that's only a foot or two. Yeah. It's a foot or two or more or 3 or 4. And as you add all that up, it all adds up.
Yeah.
So again, if your race is USATF, and there's probably another sanctioning body, but if it's USA Track and Field certified, you can be certain that has been measured, remeasured. If there's been any changes to the course from the previous year, even minor changes, it has to be remeasured. If a world record is set on that course, a course that's been measured, that hasn't been changed, it's been measured and measured again and again and again, it has to be remeasured. So
are we saying there's a possibility that when people cross the finish and go, oh, the course was long, that maybe they should take a chill pill and go on with their day because they're probably missing the boat?
Yeah. You know when to worry? When to worry. And this doesn't mean, oh boy.
Don't even go there.
Well, okay.
Let's hear it. Come on.
Okay. So if you finish your marathon and your Garmin says 26.2, or you finish your half and it says 13.1, or you finish your 10K and it says 6.2. Oh.
Well, no, but here, because those things tend to be off, there's a certain percentage point where they could be long or short.
You're right. You're right. But I am just saying that in my opinion and experience, there's more reason for concern if your device is measuring right on or super close.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, because the ability to run the tangents is generally extremely minimal.
Yeah.
You're essentially always going to be over. Now, again, Fitz and I welcome, comments from the professionals and those that are out there that I'm sure aren't listening to this podcast.
Hey, you know that I have a huge following of race officials.
I forgot.
So here's my...
The professional race community.
People love my kind of take no prisoners kind of frank talk with them. You gotta watch. Friends, you have a watch. It's kind of there to give you the gist of where you are, give you the gist of what you've done. But it is by no means perfect, nor something you should use to professional standards in racing. So, go enjoy the experience and leave that race organization alone. And up to my next thing is my peeves is when people will have an extraordinary race. So we'll have an event, they'll have big fun at the start line, thanks to cool guys like you and me, great music, tons of entertainment along the course, great nutrition, great hydration. They'll have an incredible finish line party. They'll do absolutely everything, gorgeous medals, gorgeous shirts, the elite racing experience, and then they get trapped in the parking lot for 20 minutes on the way out and slam the race and reviews. I cannot believe how many people have this bitter pill expecting everything to be perfect when a race organization kills themselves for 365 days to put on the absolute best experience as they can for, sometimes 20,000 people. And then these self-centered yo-yos get caught up on the fact that, someone left a flyer on their windshield, or, they dropped their medal and lost it, and now it's somebody else's fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, the whole experience is, a lot of work, as you said. some of these race directors and race management companies put in 360 plus days trying to make these events as close to perfect as possible. And it's a matter of life. It just doesn't happen. Little things happen along the way. And don't let those get in the way of the other 90% of your experience that went so well. If it took you half an hour to get out of the parking lot, yeah, maybe the parking officials and traffic control wasn't what it should be, but don't let it ruin your day. Now, Fitz, on the other side of that, you and I work for a number of different race directors, a whole bunch of them.
Yes, we do.
And they're really good people who really strive to provide a wonderful experience for these athletes. They're also professionals that want to hear from people who may have constructive criticisms or other good ideas.
Yes.
Some of the best ideas they've ever gotten are from people who write in, or other races that might do it this way instead of their way or that way. And that's all good. So don't hesitate to provide either constructive criticism. We love hearing our race directors get emails and texts and Facebook posts of praise, and we love to know, how well everything went. But if you have some good ideas or something didn't go perfect, don't beat them up. Just give them some constructive criticism and maybe how you would have done it instead. That's as good as an email or texted praise.
Yeah, I agree. But I still want people to big picture it all. I mean, perspective, right? My
Sure.
perspective is always standing next to the cute little girl in the grocery store. I was annoyed to be in a line, some lady's writing a check. And then I looked over and there's a beautiful little girl in a Snow White dress, bald head, clearly going through some sort of chemotherapy or medical treatment. I just thought, you know what? My life is pretty good. So if I have the opportunity to participate in a great event and have lots of fun and almost everything goes right, and then the parking lot is slow to escape, I guess I'd just be grateful that I got to participate in such a popular special event. And if, I get to sit in the parking lot for a few minutes, maybe I'm avoiding an accident on the highway or something. It's the nickel and diming people that do such good work. I don't want someone to leave and personally ruin their own experience by harping on a tiny detail that really is insignificant. And of course, I don't want all of those people that work so hard along the way to take the beating either. That's a peeve. That's a pet.
And of course, so many of those people are volunteers, right?
Yes.
I mean, so many of the volunteers.
Absolutely. So, go on.
Never beat up a volunteer.
No.
Never, ever, ever, ever beat up a volunteer. Even if they're completely wrong about what they're doing or whatever, they're doing their best. They're doing things the way they may have been guided to do them, or maybe they're just making a mistake, but don't beat them up. Without volunteers, we've got nothing. So please thank a volunteer along the way. We love our volunteers. Yay!
Yay! And then, speaking of yelling at people, I really like it on occasion when people yell at you, a la the angry man in Catalina who was possibly drunk, who cursed you out for making noise.
Yeah. Not everybody appreciates our energy and enthusiasm at 6 a.m. Yeah.
Whoops.
Whoops.
So we're gonna finish with a high point because we've been venti, but I think all in good faith. What is your favorite thing? I mean, of course we can't barrel it down, but if you were going to talk about one of the best things about a race, what would you say it is?
That it's really generally a celebration that we get to partake of that is all a positive experience. Nobody gathers and gets to the start line hoping for anything but just a wonderful time. It's all positive. And so, when it veers off of that, it's just, it's a shame. But for 99% of the people participating, it's a great experience and it's all positive. And, that's what's such a pleasure about what we do, is working with fit people, people wanting to be fitter, stronger, faster, happier, and all the wonderful things that happen in their life along the way as they become runners and cyclists and triathletes and ultramarathoners. We get to experience that on race day. It's just as good as it gets, and to be part of it is truly an honor.
Yeah, my kids were asking, we were playing some Would You Rather game, but it came down to working in television and working as a pop singer. And of course, I don't sing, or at least not well, but I do work in television. And while I love the ability to communicate with millions of people at a pop when I do that, I love the live audience. I love being able to just be with people and interact. And I think I become such a better person between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. when these races end, because, I have so much to live up to now after watching these wonderful people come by. I love getting the hugs. It's such a luxury, isn't it?
It truly is. As you say, as you love to say, it's mass impact. I want to touch as many people as possible. Now, Fitz Koehler means literally touch.
I'm a little creepy that way, right?
You are. I want to kiss your children. I want to eat all the children.
Yes. I don't eat the children, though, and that means I deserve an award.
So true. But it is a great opportunity to reach out in any manner that we get to and touch lives, because along the way ours are made better and we're touched as well. So great spot to be, Fitz Koehler. Great spot to be, and lots of races coming up.
Yep. We have too many. So next time you're coming back on the podcast, we have some to talk about in the past that we've had a heck of a lot of fun at, and then we have some things to warn people about so they come run with us, right?
Of course. Please run with us.
All right. We're going to stop running at the mouth, though. Thank you so much, Rudy. I love having you as a guest, and I know I have to twist your arm and send you all sorts of prizes and things in the mail when we're done. He's a tyrant, folks. He's so difficult.
Oh, promises never kept.
Right.
Prizes never received. I'm telling you, it's brutal. Hey, Fitz, it's a pleasure. Thanks so much for inviting me on, and I hope people enjoy the podcast and keep doing the good work you're doing, and you'll be showing up here on the correct coast very soon.
All right, for Big Sir. All right, Rudy Novotny, folks, best announcer in the country. I'll take a back seat to that man anytime. Thank you so much for listening. If you have pet peeves of your own, share them with me. Share them on the Fitzness Show podcast. I'm at Fitzness on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. You can find Rudy Novotny on Twitter, even though he doesn't use it. He's got Rudy Novotny Race Announcer page on Facebook, although he doesn't use it. But, we would love to hear from you. Thanks, everybody. Get to work.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to gift the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz Koehler, Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.